Welcome back to Margaritas in Paradise. I want to do a special shout out to Elon from Israel. He was one of the guys that called me out on the streets. If you see me on the streets, check in with me. I'm driving around or walking around here in Pattaya, and I notice things all the time. And one of the things that really strikes me hard is sometimes I wonder if people think that they're in their home country, all right? Is Thailand your home country? Now, that may be the case for a lot of people, or it may be the case for how people feel now. They live here full time and they almost feel like it's their home country. But things are not always the same as your home country are. That's one of the things that strikes me, and we're going to go over that today. It drives me crazy. I'll be driving down the road, and here are 3 or 4 or 5 men walking right down the middle of the road, and they're oblivious to me driving behind them. Maybe they can get away with that in their home country, but not here. Not here. And it's a dangerous way to end your vacation. I can guarantee you those people are not, they do not live here. They would know better if they lived here. But, you know, they're on vacation, and people don't have the same respect for a pedestrian walking down the road, okay? And I understand. They have to walk someplace. Sometimes there's not a sidewalk, but more than likely, the group of people that I'm talking about will be walking down the middle of the road or off to one side of the road, and there's sidewalks there. And they don't care about the sidewalk. But still, this is not your country. So you have to adapt while you're here, okay? And there's a whole bunch of things that you need to adapt to. That's just one of the things. I believe that whoever's bigger has the right of way, okay? So if I'm out on the road on my motorbike and here comes a semi-truck or a big bus or something like that, I get out of their way. You know, there's no sense in challenging these guys because you don't know what this guy is thinking about when he's, you know, is he late getting to wherever his destination is? Do I know what kind of hurry he's in? He may not even be able to see you. So you have to drive with your head on a swivel, and there's a possibility that a bus or a big truck's around you. You need to walk with your head on the swivel. You need to take responsibility. Don't think that they're going to be responsible for you. Take care of yourself. It's the same thing, you know, if it's a big car or even a small car, they may not even be able to see you. They may not even be looking for you. If you're involved in an accident, you know, the rule of thumb here is that more than likely, if you're a foreigner involved in an accident here in Thailand, especially with another Thai national, more than likely it's your fault. The premises there is if you weren't here, it wouldn't have happened. Now, is that always the case? No. Whoever's at fault actually gets charged or held accountable. You have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Don't put yourself into danger, okay? Just don't do it. Don't do it. All right. All right. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're giving me a big thumbs up, that you're hitting that subscribe button, hit that bell for future notifications of videos. It'll make you feel better. Things to think about when you come to Thailand. Thailand is the land of smiles, okay? And it is so fun. There is so much to do, things to keep you busy while you're here, both day and night. You need to be accustomed to, there's things that you don't do while you're here. And don't be complaining about, let's say, the monarchy or the king, okay? Don't be talking bad about Buddha. Don't talk bad about the government in general or the police. Once any of that involved in your life, it's not going to be a positive thing for you. And you need to stay positive while you're here because there's so much more to Thailand than just that. So you need to be able to adapt customs and the culture and things like that while you're here. You need to absorb, is that a good word? Absorb the culture, all right? Take it all in, soak it in, become part of it. All right. When you go into let's say you go to a temple, and maybe you're a sightseer, maybe you're a worshiper, whatever the case may be, you may see that there's shoes laying there before you go into the building, the structure. You need to take off your shoes, okay, and leave them there. Sometimes I've had guys tell me, I've heard really some horror stories with that. Some people will take off their shoes and carry them with them. And there's other places. I was just at a temple recently that they had bags for you to put your shoes in, and then you could carry your bag with you within the facility. And the reason why that is, another good friend of mine several years ago came from the U.S. He had a brand new pair of Nike Air Jordans or something like that, right? Some expensive pair of tennis shoes. He took them off. He went into the temple or wherever he went to. When he came back out, there wasn't any Air Jordans out there anymore. Okay, they were gone. And all that was left at the end of the day was this pair of cheap flip-flops. So, can it happen? Yes, it can happen. I don't think it happens a lot. I think it's kind of an honor system out there. And so, number one, don't wear your Air Jordans out there. Wear your flip-flops like everybody else is doing. And if you think that there's a possibility that whatever you're leaving out there is going to be stolen or something like that, take them with you, okay? But the key is that you have to take off your shoes before you go in to a place like that. Most people are walking barefooted in there. If you need to wear socks, you can wear socks, no problem. But be compliant with that. And that goes with, I went to the dentist's office not too long ago, Dentista out on Knockhill Road. They don't allow you to wear the shoes in the office. You need to leave your shoes outside at the curb or carry them with you. I don't know. Anyway, that is something to keep in the back of your mind. It's something that you need to adapt to while you're in Thailand. Things that can make your life so much easier is things like weighing, okay? Doing things like this here. It's just a sign of respect. And I'm not going to go into the different types of weighing that there is, but if you get in the habit of basically doing this, you can look it up on YouTube, the correct way to do it. And when you see somebody, especially somebody that is older than you should weigh back to them. And I think Thais in general, when they weigh to you and you weigh back, they respect you more, okay? Because they know that you're trying to be a part of their culture. So you're here on vacation or you're thinking about retiring here for whatever reason. This is a Buddhist country. It's predominantly a Buddhist country. Now there's religions all over Thailand. There's Christians here, there's Islam, there's probably, well, there's other things out there too, I'm sure, okay? Predominantly Buddhists, okay? So you have to be respectful about Buddhism in Thailand. You have to remember to dress appropriately. It's hot here. There's no doubt about it. You know, lightweight, fabric, that type of thing, make it super breathable, is fantastic. And if you're on the beach and that type of stuff, walking around shirtless or in a bikini or a swimsuit of some sort, it is perfectly acceptable, okay? But when it's not acceptable is to be walking downtown. You're not in the beach environment. I'm not talking about like out on Beach Road or something like that. If you're going into, let's say, Terminal 21 or Big C Extra or something like that, and you decide to wear a bikini in there, you're wrong. And or you're walking around shirtless everywhere you go, you're wrong. You have to be mindful and respectful to the people that you're around, and remember that is not the norm for people in Thailand. People are more modest. You know, when I was married to a Thai woman, Nikki, which I've talked about before, she was stunningly beautiful, and I always loved it when she was in a bikini, and if we were on the beach, she was in a bikini, but that wasn't her style. That was my style. Most Thais would rather be in a one-piece suit that covers everything. And that's a fact. When we would be around my parents or my relatives, she would always make sure that her buttons were buttoned up all the way up to right under her neckline there, so that she didn't show too much shoulder or cleavage, or her skirts weren't too short. That's the respect that she has. And that goes here in Thailand. So there's times that you're going to have to go to government offices and that sort of thing. And you need to be wearing clothing that, like shorts, that stop below the knee, for instance. You're not walking into a government office with a tank top on or things like that. So you have to be respectful of that. There's many temples that are going to be in the same idea. First here, it's a good idea to have a shawl or something like that with you that maybe you can put around your shoulders or around your waist or something like that to kind of cover up and still be breathable type material, but be more modest. And when you're more modest like that, you're being respectful to the Thai culture. People are going to be more receptive to you, and they're going to appreciate you being there that much more. So here's a couple other things. The money. The money has the king's face on money. So if you drop money, you have to be respectful. You don't, if you drop a 100 baht note on the ground, never step on that note. Bend over and pick up that note. Do the best that you can, but never step on that note. And the thing is because that's the bottom of your foot, that is the least respectful place on your body that you want to touch anything of that's held in reverence in the Thai culture. Okay, I can remember, I'm going back to Nikki again, but I can remember when I was married, and we would be in a store someplace, and I could see something on the bottom shelf, and I would point with my right toe to that item, and it drove my wife crazy. And she was teaching me back then. I would never do it now, never. But she was teaching me back then. Number one, you just don't point. It's not polite to point in general. If you want to show somebody something, you reach over and grab the item and show the item to that person. But you don't point at the item. And number two, you never use your foot to point. If you're going to point, never use your foot to point. So, good lessons learned. Now, there's situations in Thailand that you don't want to bring attention to yourself so much. There were so many times in my past life that I would get frustrated here because things weren't being taken care of fast enough for me. All right. And at times I felt like I was being ignored and things like that. And of course I have this deep voice, so I have to be careful that I don't sound like I'm yelling when I'm talking to somebody, okay, because my voice carries so much. The last thing you want to do is yell while you're in Thailand, all right? It's the same thing with honking horns. You don't honk your horn while you're in Thailand unless you're going to avoid an accident. And the only exception to that is maybe the little beep beep noise that the tuk-tuk drivers, they try to signal you, hey, do you want to ride? You know, but other than that, you don't hear in the normal Thai traffic a bunch of horns going off like you would in New York City or someplace like that. So raising your voice is looked at as a negative thing. It's causing, it's bringing attention to yourself. And the Thais look at that. When you do that, it's a loss of face, okay? And loss of face is very important to the Thai culture. When you make somebody lose face, when you make them look bad, okay, in front of other people, especially their friends, it's not going to work out good for you. No way. So it's almost better to tell a small white lie to avoid loss of face in Thailand's culture. All right, so be careful about that. You don't want to call out people. If it doesn't really matter, don't worry about it. All right, I'll tell you what. If I did something, if I made a mistake driving or something like that, and somebody rolls up next to me and honks their horn and gives me the finger, and I just look at them and smile and wave back to them, and you know why what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, okay, so this guy's gone already, and his honking the horn and giving me the finger, what did it do? It made him feel good because it's already done now. It doesn't matter, and to me, just called attention to himself, and everybody's looking around at him like, well, it doesn't matter. He's gone. All right, so it's not worth it in Thailand. People in Thailand are generally happy. They don't want to be put on the pedestal and called out in front of their friends. They want to enjoy their life, all right? And this is the place to enjoy your life. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm sitting here, you don't know, but I am this way here. I'm 80 meters away from the beach. If I had my balcony doors open because it's a little windy out tonight, you could hear the waves crashing on the beach. All right. And tonight I'll be out there listening to them. All right. So, yeah, why ain't you here? Yeah, really. I mean, this is such a great place to be. I'm having a good time in my life, and yeah, this is just a fantastic place. It's just super nice out right now, nice and comfortable. I think, it's 84 degrees out tonight, and it's 7:20 in the evening on a Tuesday night. So here's something else to think about while you're in Thailand. Okay, if you're here on vacation or you're living here, is you'll find out that things in Thailand are very affordable. Okay, let's say street food, for instance. You can go out, if I wanted to go out and get a pad thai and a drink right down the road tonight, it's going to cost me probably 50 baht for the pad thai for the complete meal, and maybe another 20 baht, 15 baht for a Coke Zero, a Diet Coke. Okay. Now, if I was just going to have a bottle of water, something like that, then it's going to be like 6 or 7 baht. Now, so I'm going to say that's going to be less than $2 total. It's more like less than $1.50 for my entire meal. That's what you can expect in Thailand. Now, if you decide that you need to have McDonald's, or you need to have a steak at Sizzler's steakhouse. Now you're going to be spending a lot more money. You're going to be spending Western prices if you go to McDonald's or Sizzler Steakhouse over at Terminal 21 or wherever. They have them all over the place. Or Pizza Hut or things like that. You're going to spend the same thing, maybe more than you spend at your home. All right? But if you're here and you're eating Thai food, you can expect to be able to eat here very reasonable. I had a subscriber recently ask me about coming here as a visitor or thinking about retiring here. What are things that I would suggest to bring from your home country that may not be easy to find here? So most things you're going to be able to find in Thailand in general, okay? But if you're a big size, for instance, a guy like me, over 300 pounds, maybe 2 meters tall, or I'm not quite 2 meters tall, but I'm pretty close to it. I wear a big size shoe. So if you have a large shoe size, let's say a European size, let's say 47 or up, or a US size over 12, then you should have extra shoes with you because they're just not going to be findable here in Thailand. Now you can have things made, but that's going to take a certain amount of time. And, take care of yourself. For me, because I wear a size 15 shoe, it's a wide foot. I always have extra shoes with me. Even when I'm just gone for a day or two, if I go over to Colarn Island or something like that, I have an extra pair of shoes with me for sure. Because if I break a flip-flop or something like that, it's going to be uncomfortable. And I want to take care of myself. I want to be happy. I'm going to make sure I'm good to go. But, like your electronics type stuff, I think the Apple Mac type products maybe cost a little bit more than the norm. And it seems to me like I have a printer, for instance, for my computers, and I ended up having to spend more. I think in the U.S. I was used to spending like $50 for a printer, fax, scanner, whatever what the printers have on them nowadays, you know what I mean? Anyway, and I went out and I think I ended up spending like, I don't know, $150 or something like that. But I've had it now for like 5 or 6 years, so it's definitely paid for itself. You can get electronics and things like that here. There's no problem with that. And we have kind of the epicenter of electronic shops here. So if you're looking for used items or things that have been rebuilt and things like that, we have them here in Thailand. There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, you look at a lot of these items where they were made at originally, Thailand. So they're here. You're going to be able to find that type of stuff here. Even food in general. It used to be I would have to bring my own barbecue sauce and salad dressing and things like that, but I just wasn't looking hard enough. It's here, all right? And yeah, if you need to have wishbone ranch dressing for your salads, it's probably going to be $10 a bottle. So if you need that much while you're on vacation or you're retired here or whatever, the next time you're in whatever home country you're from, bring it with you. Okay, but so I can go out and buy Kraft ranch dressing for salads, and it works just as good for me, and it's a reasonable price. So it's not $10 a bottle, but those are the type things that you have to think about. So now, another friend of mine told me, as far as females are concerned, there are things that are the feminine pads. They're readily available here. But then you have the tampon type things, which are very hard to find here. And if you do find them here, they're expensive. So if that's something that you need to have or something like that, I would suggest bringing extra. All right. Another thing is make sure you have plenty of meds in general. I'm talking about across the board. Now, you can get meds here. And most meds, you don't need a prescription for. You can just go in and tell the pharmacist what meds you take. And they're going to look them up and everything and make sure you're on the right dosage and just give you whatever supply you need. All right? And they're pretty easy to find. I was looking up for some diabetic medicine for another subscriber, and it's all available here. And I think it was a lot cheaper than what they were used to paying as well. So there's pharmacies here, big pharmacies like Vicino. You can look them up on Google yourself, or Thai pharmacies, and find out what the prices are, maybe stock up on them while you're here. But if it's a controlled item, the narcotics and that type of stuff, more than likely you're going to need a prescription. So when you come over here, if you have a past bottle that's up to date and that type of stuff, or if you don't have a bottle, then you'll probably need a written prescription, and you'll have to go to a doctor locally here to get it prescribed for you. So that's just something to think about. Controlled items here, when it comes to narcotics and that, are taken seriously. And if you're walking around with those in the open and don't have prescriptions and that type of stuff, you're looking at potential something that's illegal, and you don't want to do illegal stuff here in Thailand. Leave that. Just don't do it here in Thailand. All right? And when we're coming down to that end of it, Thailand's safe. Yes, Thailand is very safe. But, if you're looking for trouble, trouble's going to find you. And if you're out at 4 o'clock in the morning doing stupid stuff, okay, trouble's going to find you. Now, that's not to say if you get up and want to go jogging on the beach at 4 o'clock in the morning, that may be your lifestyle, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about maybe something completely different than that. But Thailand is a very safe place, all right? And you don't have to worry about that type of thing. But if you do find yourself in a situation where, let's say you're going to get into a fight or something like that, I would highly suggest never being super aggressive here. Blow off people that are being aggressive. I'll tell you what, fighting here is just not worth it. Okay, it's just not worth it. And I see so many, especially young guys, they start drinking, and then as they're getting drinking, their arms are getting puffy, and they're walking down the road with their arms way out, and you're like, why is their arms out like that? Why are they all puffed up and everything? It's the alcohol, and they're just begging for somebody to bump into them and for them to start something. That's not something to do here, okay? Especially around a Thai, because if a Thai person gets into a fight, you're talking about taking on the entire family, okay? So if you get into a fight with a Thai taxi driver or a Thai motorbike taxi driver, and there's other Thai taxi drivers or motorbike taxi drivers around, they're going to be there beating the heck out of you, okay? And you don't want to do that. There's nothing, a fight is a fight here. There's nothing about fair or anything else like that. Walk away from fight. Turn the other cheek, walk away. Be the bigger guy. It's not worth it. You're here to have fun, not be in a fight. And the last thing you want to do is go to jail. All right, if you haven't done so already, make sure you're giving me a big thumbs up, that you're hitting that subscribe button, hit that bell for future notifications of videos. Another thing is people talk about, they go through my videos and they see that I own a condo. And the first question that they have is, hey, you can't own a condo, you can't own land there. And they're just talking before they're looking up the actual reason. You can search that all you want. I'm not going to tell you that I'm doing something here in Thailand and it's not right. But, you can't own land here, all right? But you can own a portion of a building, let's say, that's in this, like my building here is 51% Thai owned, and then you break it down to units, and that's the reason why foreigners own certain things here in Thailand. If you ever decide that you're going to come here and buy something, always go get a lawyer. Hire Magna Carta down in Jomtien. There's all kinds of law offices. That's just who I use, so I'm going to recommend them. But always go through a lawyer. Never chance that anything's going to be done for you the right way. Make sure the lawyer's taking care of it for you. All right, so let's see here. If you ever thought about buying me a cup of coffee, I love coffee. Anyway, there's a link down below in the description box for that. And of course, definitely check the description box below. It has all kinds of money-saving links in there, and just good information. Depending on what video I'm doing, I give information on where I'm at and how to find certain areas. All right, so definitely check that box out. And I have a couple new videos coming out very soon. I have a good friend of mine, Jay from Chiang Mai. We did a Everybody Has a Story video, and that'll be coming out next week. So make sure you check that out. And we just got done with the video. I think that's being posted tonight for the Candy Club on Soy Bacow. We had a great time over there. And Grant, he hooked us up. All right, Grant. All right, so that's it for tonight. You have a great day. Treat yourself right. Come to Thailand. Thailand is the place to be, especially right now. It's monsoon season. No, really. Everybody thinks it rains all the time during monsoon season. You know, it's probably going to rain every day for an hour or so. But, you know, but it's a great time of the year to be here. Yeah, why ain't you here?